The gunman's co-workers will be with us in moments, right here in a Kelly Fowle exclusive. But first, we are joined by an eyewitness and survivor of last night's attack, who stayed on the scene after his escape from the nightclub. Luis Burbano joins us live from Orlando to pick up the story from there. Luis, thank you so much for being with us tonight. What was the first indication you had last night at the club that there was danger?
A lot of the DJs normally play songs, and they sample different types of music, or horns or bullet shoots inside. So when we were listening to the song around 2 o'clock, we were cashing out our tabs, and we hear what we thought was part of the set of the DJ, which was ba 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 ba. But everyone looked around, realizing it wasn't really so enhanced by the music. It was different. Past the 4th or 5th round, that's when we realized something was going on. And at that point, I turned to my right in the direction of where it was all coming from, and I just see a domino effect of people going down, just ducking down. And go ahead.
Did you see anyone injured inside the club? I mean, did you think anyone had been hurt?
The club itself has several parts to it. You walk in to the left, there's a smaller room with a long bar. It's not as big as the main floor. Then you have the back patio. The room that I was in, I was furthest in. It was slightly darker because that's just the ambiance of the room. And I didn't see anything at that point in time because the pace that it all happened at was so rapid. And it was incredibly in the blink of an eye fast. I just remember hearing the 4 shots, hearing the 5th and 6th, realizing, okay, I think something's going on, ducking down, grabbing my best friend, we ducked down. And at that point, we had to slide. There was a break in the shots, about 10 seconds after a good 10 to 20 rounds at that point. And we had a moment where we looked at the exit door, a side exit door for employees, and we just booked. Slid in. We didn't realize afterwards, and we looked back at our clothes. There must have been something going on because I had blood all over my clothes.
When you got outside of the nightclub, you saw a man who was lying there, right, on the ground. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, we had first pushed our way through the door, and it was a small alleyway in regards of a lot of people trying to get out, and it was really a lot of traffic. So me and this tall gentleman, we just had the idea to close the door shut and push against to make sure if it was coming this way, because the bullets were getting louder, it was getting closer. We just kept the door shut and tried getting everyone as much space and as much time to get out. When I ran out and I dodged through a big hole in a fence, a gentleman collapsed right in front of the club. And at that point, we were still hearing what was going on, but my focus was helping him out, just dragging him. Unbeknownst to me, his left forearm was split in 2, and then he also had a gash on his hip. And then I dragged him up a hill, found an officer. I took off a shirt, used it as a tourniquet for his arm, and then the officer grabbed something else and we put it on his side, and we just talked to him and comforted him and just said, hey, you're gonna be fine. He was controlled, he was calm, but he was saying he was losing a lot of blood, and I was trying to distract him where he's from and what does he do, and little small talk like that. And then another gentleman was walking back and forth, screaming on the phone that he had a relative inside. He didn't realize he had a bullet sticking out of his leg, out of his inner thigh, and it was about this big, size of your finger. When I told him that, I took off my other shirt, wrapped that tourniquet around him, and then they were able to come within 5-10 minutes, the ambulance, and take both of them away. And at that point, the cops just said, okay, now go as fast as you can. Just
so
get out of there.
You saw the man walking, you saw the bullet sticking halfway out of his leg?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's walking around like he doesn't even know it's happened?
The gentleman that I was talking to, he didn't even scream with his arm. He had no clue. He knew something was wrong, obviously. The shock factor. It was a shock factor. It was awe.
Luis,
we don't even remember screaming inside the club. It was just mouths drop, you go. He had no clue. He was bleeding from his jeans, and I said, you have a bullet sticking out of you. And then he looked down, and that's when it hit him, and he just fell, and then we took care of him. But his main concern was his family member. Just
a question for you. When you were holding the doors shut so that the shooter could not get out, but was there any concern that you might be keeping people fleeing the shooter from getting
Yeah.
out there?
No. Yeah. Yeah. I was on my mind. There was banging. There was pushing of the door. That was on my mind. But at that point in time, I just tried doing what I thought would be best at that moment, because it was getting louder and getting closer. And I looked to my left. There was a good 20 people piling on top of each other, trying to exit out a small closet-looking door to the parking lot. And I pray that it was nobody trying to escape. And if they did, if they hid, if they got stuck, and you don't know what to do until that happens. And I just thought I was doing the right thing.
You were worried
I'm not a hero.
about getting trampled, in other words. So many people were coming into this small little corridor.
I didn't care about getting trampled.
Oh.
I wanted everyone to get out. My goal was making sure my best friend and these people had space, because panic and chaos was not allowing everyone to get through there. So by holding that door, it was only about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, it seemed like. I felt like that was enough time, and people made their way through, and then there was a gaping hole in the fence that someone busted through, and people figured out another route. So at that point, I didn't care.
Did you have any EMT training, with the tourniquets and your shirts? I mean, it was just instinctual, you knew.
Yeah. My mother had always told me, she worked in the medical field, she always told me what to do in that situation, and seeing things like that. I'm not, I'm far from anything. I'm far from a hero, and someone had said that, and you had said that earlier with me on the phone, and I please don't say that. I'm far from that. I don't feel like a hero. I don't feel like even a survivor. I just feel like a person who had to do what they had to do at that moment in time. There's more people that need to be focused on. There's more people that need to be shined a light on and praised and given credit for, and just blessed, and just all the prayers in the world. I didn't do anything,
Luis, we're glad you're safe, and I'm sure those two gentlemen you helped are very glad as well. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Kelly.